starting with number 6, which is solve the quadratic equation x squared minus 5x equals 2x plus 6 using any method you choose. To earn full credit, you must show or explain how you determined your answer. So first I'm going to copy the problem down here. And this is the type of problem where it is not yet equal to 0. So the first step in factoring is always going to be to make it equal 0. And if you look back into your ISN, we have a lot of pages on factoring. They're generally in the 40s. So page 41 would be a good reference here. You don't really need Snowflake for this. Zero product property is a good idea, like not factored and not equal to 0. So we're going to be following these steps. Move all the terms to one side to make the other side equal to 0. And then we may want to factor it, but we'll see what happens once we do that. So I need to make this side equal 0. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. And I'll get x squared minus 7x equals 6. And now I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides too. So now I have everything moved over, and I could factor this. That would be x minus 1 times x. Wait, that doesn't make sense. We'll see. I think what I'm going to do to start this is I'm going to graph it. So I'm going to put this equation into y equals x squared minus 7x minus 6. And I'm going to look at the graph here. Okay, it looks like I have x-intercepts at -1 and positive something else, so I'm going to look at the table. No, it looks like it's between 0 and -1. And then between 7 and 8. So I could try to do this with completing the square. That might work. It doesn't look like I can factor it, or I could use the quadratic formula. So first of all, I'm just going to remind myself that they are between 7 and 8, and then also between 0 and -1. Just so I know that that's the answer that I'm trying to find. So, I think I'll just do this, or the easiest way to be, I think I'll try to do this just with the quadratic formula. So -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. So now that's going to be positive 7 plus or minus all of this, which I'll figure out in a second, all over 2. So the square root of -7 squared minus 4 times 1 times -6. So that's about 8.5. So 7 plus 8.5 is 15.5, and 7 minus 8.5 is about -1.5. And when I divide, I get 7.75 and -0.75. And this makes sense because this one is between 7 and 8, and this one is between 0 and -1. And I'm going to write it just a little bit nicer over here. So x equals 7.75 or x equals -0.75. All right, that took a little bit longer since the answers weren't whole numbers, but that's one way you could do it. You could also try to do it with completing the square. Just when you go to take the square root, it's not going to come out as a whole number.